We here at the Daily Report have been begging for people to show at least a little bit of a backbone and to provide some resistance to what Donald Trump is doing that is hurting so many Americans. And finally, at long last, our calls have been heard by Josh Hawley. I wasn't expecting that one, nor really wanting it either. But I guess he might be standing with us on trying to stop the absolutely massive cuts to Medicaid that the Republicans are pushing for. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you've just been tuning up into the news for the first time in a few days, Trump said we're not touching Medicaid. No, I know that he said that, but he also said he loves the House plan, and the House plan is cutting it by $880 billion. So I don't think you should trust him. I also worry about trusting Josh Hawley, but he at least says he doesn't like the idea of these massive Medicaid cuts, and he went beyond just saying that. He actually filed an amendment to a bill barring cuts to Medicaid, and he says he's tempted to vote for similar Democratic amendments. And I guess he did that. We could jump ahead a little bit, but Chuck Schumer had filed an amendment that would prevent tax cuts for the wealthy if even a single dollar of Medicaid funding is cut. Hawley was the only Republican other than Susan Collins to vote in favor of it. So he did his own amendment, which he said he would do, and then he did it. He said he would vote for Democratic amendments, and he did it. Now, those didn't actually pass, obviously. Additionally, he voted for an amendment to establish a deficit neutral reserve fund relating to ending price gouging on prescription drugs. That's interesting. One, to create a point of order against legislation that would reduce Medicare and Medicaid benefits for Americans, and an amendment to establish a deficit neutral reserve fund relating to protecting access to maternal and pediatric health care through Medicaid. And so that's good. He, by the way, if we're giving credit, I guess, he was also the only Republican who voted for an amendment from Senator Jeff Merkley, a Democrat, aimed at curbing hedge fund ownership of single family homes to limit rent prices. That's a massive issue that we've been talking about for a while. And so all of that is good. Now, it really only feels really good if his vote makes it succeed. Because up until when that happens, a cynic like me can say, well, he voted for it, but did he know that it would fail anyway? Like, is this a way of getting sort of like populist credentials when you know that it doesn't matter? And therefore, Donald Trump might not be quite as mad? Because like, sure, you kind of stood up to him, but it didn't actually change the outcome. So I don't know, maybe that's overly cynical of me. But at least as we are moving towards these cuts being like potentially formalized, I'm glad to know that there's at least one Republican that maybe could be on our side. Daria, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on here, except for the fact I'm thinking maybe his Yale Law School education is kicking in at some point. He's like having a wake up, like something that we were both taught during 1L year is suddenly making its way to his prefrontal cortex and is like, this is bad, like maybe I should do something. That's all I can think of, really. I don't know what his end game is or what his angle is, because we know that it's not gonna make Trump happy.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he gets blasted on Truth Social or whatever. But anyway, the only thing we have so far is that he says that he did speak with Trump on the phone and he was encouraged to support it. Look, my hope is that, I mean, I've been talking about how weak these Republican men are. At least like you'd hope some of the senators, like they're senators. They're deeply ambitious, supposedly. They want power, right? Like, don't you actually want to have a little bit of power? You can't have power if you just give over your vote to everything that Donald Trump wants. So I'm hoping, I don't have much hope at all for the House, but maybe in the Senate there could be a couple. We're not really seeing it, but I would love to see it. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.